Ever walk into a drugstore and kind of wonder, like, who's the one really running this whole show?
Right.
Not the pharmacist. I mean, like, who's keeping everything humming along behind the scenes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, today we are diving deep into the world of the drugstore manager.
That's right.
And to help us along the way, we've got some great resources from RoleCatcher.
A really interesting career development platform.
It is. So, are you cut out to run the show? Let's find out.
Let's do it. You know what's so interesting about this is it's almost like this hybrid role.
Okay.
Part business owner, part community leader.
Huh.
And you're still in this really fascinating world of retail.
I like it. I'm intrigued already. Now, RoleCatcher, they describe these drugstore managers as, like, the conductors of this whole orchestra.
Yeah.
But what does that actually mean on, like, a day-to-day basis? They can't just be alphabetizing the vitamins, right?
I mean, they might do a little of that,
Okay.
but really, I think the variety of skills that you need is kind of surprising. And RoleCatcher breaks these down into hard skills and soft skills. And it's very apparent that you really need a good mix of both to be successful.
So it's not enough to, like, balance the books. You've got to be a people person, too.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. You're managing a team,
Okay.
probably people with lots of different personalities and levels of experience.
Yeah, sure.
And then on top of that, you've got your customers.
Right, with all sorts of needs.
So we got all these different requests. They're coming to you with questions. Being able to communicate with your staff and with the public is just absolutely crucial.
Absolutely, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you know what's interesting is that RoleCatcher actually lists negotiation as one of those key skills.
Yeah.
What's that all about? Are we haggling with people over shampoo prices? What's going on there?
Not so much that. You're working with suppliers. You're trying to get the best prices because that's impacting your profitability.
Right.
Or let's say a shipment comes in late.
Right.
And you got to figure out how to minimize the disruption to the store.
Oh, right.
That's where that entrepreneurial mindset really comes into play.
Okay, so we're talking quick thinking on your feet,
Yeah.
problem solving, maybe a little charm to smooth things over with those frustrated customers. This is starting to sound like drugstore managers need superpowers.
A little bit, yeah. RoleCatcher gives an example.
Okay.
And this is one of their profiles.
Mm-hmm.
And this manager noticed that they were consistently overstocked on a particular brand of sunscreen.
Okay.
And it just wasn't selling very well.
Huh.
But instead of just letting it sit there on the shelves, he reached out to the supplier, negotiated a return, and actually got some different products.
That's smart.
And freed up that space for items that people actually wanted.
Oh, I like that.
So it's that kind of initiative that really sets a good manager apart.
See, now that's the kind of insight I was hoping for. It's not just about checking boxes. This is like you're using your brain. You're actually making a difference here.
Exactly.
What other surprises does RoleCatcher have for us?
You know what might surprise you? Is that you don't necessarily need a fancy degree to get started in this kind of work.
Really?
Yeah.
So you could go from, like, stocking shelves to actually calling the shots, all without needing some fancy business degree.
It's true. RoleCatcher lays out this very clear career ladder.
Okay.
You can start with an entry-level position like a drugstore assistant.
Okay.
Learn the ropes, everything from the customer service side to the inventory.
Right.
And you really get a feel for that whole retail environment.
Yeah, so it's a good way to test the waters, like see if you're really cut out for this kind of work.
Exactly.
Then how do you climb that ladder? What's the next step up?
So you'd probably move up to like a drugstore sales associate.
Okay.
And this is where you really start flexing those persuasion muscles that we were talking about.
Oh, okay. So this is where I break out my sales pitch about why everyone needs that jumbo-sized bottle of lotion.
Exactly. It's really about helping customers find the product that best suits their needs.
Okay.
And, of course, you're also boosting those sales figures for the store.
Right, of course.
And RoleCatcher actually highlights one sales associate who they were really good at this, like suggesting related products.
Oh, smart.
And they significantly increase revenue just by making these suggestions.
Oh, wow.
So let's say someone comes in, they're buying cough drops.
Okay.
Maybe they also need a humidifier.
Right. It's all about connecting the dots for them and for the store.
Exactly.
I bet that kind of initiative does not go unnoticed.
No, not at all.
So what happens when you've proven yourself like you are a top-notch sales associate? What's next?
That might be when you step into management.
Okay.
So you can become an assistant drugstore manager.
Okay.
And now you're not just responsible for your own tasks.
Right, you're overseeing others.
Exactly. You're making sure that whole place is running smoothly.
So it's a whole other level of responsibility. And probably a crash course in some serious leadership skills.
Absolutely.
Does RoleCatcher give us any juicy details about what makes a successful assistant manager?
They do. One profile that really stood out to me was this assistant manager who had a real knack for efficiency.
Okay.
Like, they noticed that they were wasting a lot of time on training new hires.
Yeah, that can be a big time suck.
Exactly. So they actually created this whole new training program
Wow.
to streamline that process.
Oh, I like it.
And not only did this save them time and money, it actually led to better customer service because the employees felt way more confident in their roles.
That's fantastic. So impressive. Like taking initiative and actually having a real impact even before you get to that top spot.
That's right.
Okay, so let's say you've put in the work, you've learned all the things, you've proven yourself as a leader.
Yep.
You are officially the drugstore manager.
That's right.
What does life at the top look like according to RoleCatcher?
Well, this is where those entrepreneurial skills really come in. You are setting the sales goals.
Yeah.
You're managing the budget. It's like your own business.
Wow.
You're responsible for the entire store.
So high pressure, but also high reward, I imagine.
Yes, definitely.
What kind of background or experience did RoleCatcher highlight for somebody at this level?
You know, they actually gave an example of a manager who had a master's in business administration,
Wow, okay.
which I think really shows that a solid education can be so valuable.
Yeah.
This particular manager, they had a proven track record.
Uh-huh.
Increasing revenue, they kept a balanced budget, and they really fostered this really positive work environment.
That's great.
They understood the big picture of a successful drugstore.
So it's definitely not just knowing where the aspirin is anymore.
Definitely not. You need a deep understanding of business principles,
Right?
marketing. You got to have top-notch people skills.
Right. Okay, so a lot goes into it.
It does, but, you know, RoleCatcher doesn't shy away from the challenges either. They have a whole section on the pros and cons of this career path,
Yeah.
which I think is important for anybody considering this.
Okay, before we get into those pros and cons, and listeners, you are not going to want to miss this.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
I'm curious about the tech side of things, because I imagine it's not like old school cash registers
Oh, no.
and like handwritten inventory lists anymore.
No, technology is huge.
Yeah.
And it plays a huge role in these drugstores nowadays.
Okay.
So think sophisticated inventory systems, mobile payment apps,
Right, which everybody uses.
right? And even those like targeted digital marketing campaigns to get people in the door.
Oh, wow. So drugstore managers have to be tech savvy too, on top of everything else.
It's becoming so crucial.
Wow.
RoleCatcher stresses how important it is to be comfortable with these new technologies
Okay.
because it really is key for success these days. Like, they profile one manager who actually implemented this whole new inventory tracking system,
Okay.
and it reduced waste and saved them a ton of money.
Wow. So embracing technology can lead to real bottom line results.
Exactly.
That's a really valuable takeaway.
Absolutely.
Now let's get to those pros and cons.
Okay.
RoleCatcher promises to give us the unvarnished truth. The good, the bad, and maybe even the ugly. What are we looking at? Okay, spill the beans. What are the perks of this whole career path according to RoleCatcher?
Okay.
Besides, first dibs on the discount Halloween candy, obviously.
Well, they highlight job security,
Okay.
which is always appealing,
Mm.
especially these days.
Yeah.
People always need their prescriptions filled.
Right.
They need their allergy meds.
It's true. It's not going anywhere.
Exactly. No matter what's happening with the economy.
Right. Like it's not some trendy gadget or something.
Right.
It's essential.
It's essential. And, beyond just having that job security, there is that potential for advancement.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We were talking about the whole career ladder thing.
Exactly. It's not a dead end.
Yeah, yeah.
You can start at the bottom.
Work your way up.
Exactly. So there's room to grow in terms of your skills and your salary.
Absolutely.
That's motivating.
And then there's the human element.
Okay.
Like you're not just pushing papers all day.
Yeah, you're interacting with actual humans.
Exactly. You're helping them. You're offering advice.
That's right, that community leader aspect we were talking about.
Exactly.
You're a familiar face.
Yeah.
You're someone that people trust. RoleCatcher actually shares this really great story about a manager
Okay.
who really went above and beyond for a customer
Okay.
who was having trouble affording their medication.
Oh, wow.
And they helped them figure out some insurance stuff, connect with a local program that offered financial assistance.
Wow. That's great.
It's that kind of compassion that really makes a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, but let's be real. No job is perfect.
Right.
So what about those downsides?
Okay.
What does RoleCatcher caution us about?
Well, they're pretty upfront about the potential for stress. Remember all those demanding customers we talked about?
Yeah.
And all the unexpected situations?
Right, right.
Gotta be able to handle the pressure, think on your feet, stay calm.
Yeah, you need a thick skin,
Yeah,
a whole lot of patience.
it's not for the faint of heart.
Right, right.
You're juggling employee issues, customer complaints, inventory mishaps.
Right, right. That's a lot.
It's a lot to handle.
Yeah. Definitely not the job for someone who thrives on routine and predictability.
Exactly. But here's the interesting thing.
Okay.
RoleCatcher points out that even those downsides, they're learning experiences.
Oh,
The skills that you develop, problem solving, communication, all that stuff.
being adaptable.
Exactly. They're transferable
Right.
to other careers.
So even if you don't see yourself running a drugstore forever, this could be like a stepping stone to something else.
Exactly.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like they mentioned people who have gone on to become buyers for large retail chains.
Oh, wow.
They took that experience with the products and the consumer behavior
Right.
and applied it there.
Right, right.
Or some people go the entrepreneurial route,
Oh, yeah, okay.
open up their own health and wellness store.
Right, after they've had all that experience.
Exactly.
That's a really, really great point. It's like, it's not a dead-end job, it's a launch pad.
Exactly. And I think that's the big takeaway here.
Yeah.
Whether you're looking for a stable career with room for growth, or you're really drawn to this fast-paced retail world,
Yeah.
there's a surprising amount of potential there.
It's true. I'm totally seeing it in a whole new light now.
Good, good.
So next time I'm at the drugstore, I'm going to take a minute to really appreciate that person behind the counter,
Yes,
juggling a million things while they're helping me find my allergy medicine.
that's right.
They could be a future business mogul in disguise.
Or at the very least, really good at organization and dealing with chaos.
And patient. Lots of patience. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of drugstore managers. Until next time.